But Dad, isn't it time for illegal ham in the face? But bro, where's the banjo?
Some Cleveland sports shows try to give you hot takes, but only one can give you a big old piece of hot ham. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face. Talking all Cleveland sports. And don't forget our Fat Boy Tuesday, where we also ham it up with some fun food topics. Without further ado, let's serve up some ham. Here are the Ham Boys. Fatty, Big Bri, and my cousin Vinny.
What's going on, everybody? I am that fat guy. Bri, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
I had to turn up my headphones a little bit. Sorry for the delay for the special Thursday show of Legal Ham to the Face. I am that fat guy. He is Big Bri, and we are here to get into the nitty gritty. We got some Cavs talk today. We got some Browns beat up on the Bengals. Got some trade deadline stuff. We had the State of the Union with Andrew Berry. And then we're going to get into some Halloween costumes and some horror movies at the end. But as always, our show is brought to you by Harold Keel and Lake Erie APA. Please get a hold of Harold Keel if you would like to join a pool league, any kind of pool league here on the west side of Cleveland. Mostly Parma and Parma Heights is where we normally play out of. If you'd like to join a team, get a hold of myself or Big Bri, or email us at illegalhamtotheface@gmail.com, and we will get you in touch with somebody that will hook you up. Bri wanted a day off after he lost to me in fantasy football. I wish that was the case. It was not Bri, it was me. So we
both lost.
Yeah, I know.
Justin's saying, yeah. Hey, if me losing to Justin because he has Hunt and Chubb on his team, I'm perfectly fine with that.
And to think, didn't he want to trade? I'm pretty sure he wanted to trade him last week. Look at that.
Hunt or Chubb?
Both.
Wow. Should have taken him up on that.
I know. All right, Bri, do you have any shout-outs for this week, big fella?
I do not. Nope.
Okay, well, I got one major shout-out. They announced it on Sunday night. Our boy, Kevin Arnold from the Voice of Land podcast is expecting a baby Arnold. Him and his wife are pregnant now. Congrats. They have a baby on the way. I got to also shout out my little ones, my little heathens here. They dressed up as a ninja and a pirate for Halloween, and they got it done quick enough so I could come home and watch the Browns game. So great job by those two.
I did. Are you done with your shout outs? I remember one.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Whenever you're done. Sorry. It was my mom's birthday. Probably about a week ago now, so that's why it seems like a distant memory. But let me shout her out just in case she's watching, listening.
Nice. Happy birthday, Mama.
Yep.
Now, we have a date this next Friday, right?
Yes. Yep, Friday. All right. We're all in.
Because the wife is practicing as we speak.
Oh, she first time playing or just need a refresher?
Just a refresher. So make sure you bring some quarters because we play certain rules in this house. All right.
You got it.
Make it a little interesting. Now, by the way, what pizza do you want? Do you want a fancy pizza? You just don't care, do you?
No. Warm pizza and cold beer. That's all I need. It'll be a good night.
Have you had sweet basil yet?
I have, and I like it.
Okay. We'll figure out a new place that you haven't had, all right?
Sounds good. Right.
So, let's see here. Monday night Halloween. Yes, Craig Foster was there. I saw the pictures. They had a great turnout for the possum rally for the fundraiser for Greg. And
awesome.
They were all downtown. Craig was downtown at they went to the meet and greet and had a whole bunch of other stuff. So he had some pictures up on his Facebook, which was absolutely amazing. Halloween night, man. How crazy is that on a Monday night Halloween night.
So much fun.
And just we'll get into it here in a little bit, Bri. Normally we would do a trivia for you today, and we decided to punt that out of the road because it's Thursday. And you know something, honestly, I just got done with work and I didn't even think of one. So fatty fail
It's
on
all
that.
good.
You know, gotta find where's the fatty fail. Oh my lord, that's a Bri fail right there. I don't have my glasses on. Nope, that's not it. There's the fatty. There it is, right there. That's what happens when you get a fatty fail. Brian, let's get into our fantasy football league real quick while I have it up.
Yep.
This week, all right, we have everybody's bunched up. You had the Juice defeating Fat Happy Endings 173 to 144. Baldy Locks beat Big Bri 112 to 105. The fantasy football team beat up on Giggles 144 to 107. Harold Keel came back with another win, Bri. Beat up on the Cleveland Lyman Lounge 163
There you go.
7. Team Big Meat beat up on the Dog Pound Boys 138 to 118. Team Span beat up on the Portage County Prostitutes 148 137. And Kevin Arnold beat up on Team Big Rod 133 to 119.
Wow.
And fantasy
Good one.
updates. Let's go to our projections right now. Team football team, Big Man, 7-1 right now. Four
Well
people,
done.
Kevin Arnold, Team Span, Team Big Rod, and Dog Pound Boys at 5-3. You have the Juice, the Prostitutes, Happy Endings, Big Meat at 4-4. Then you have the Giggles, Lyman Lounge, and Harold at 3-5. And then bringing up the rear, you have Big Bri and Baldy Locks at 2-6. So we are halfway through the season, Bri.
Yep. Time to put up or shut up.
I know. And let's see here. Extra fatty fail. Yeah, I know. I got you. I got you with that one. Crap. You know, there's times that I just really want to just let loose on this show and just, you know, Bri, words that, you know, most people haven't heard before, that you just be like, hold on, is that actually a cuss word? But I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. I want to, but I just can't.
You never know. Your mom could be watching. You want to do that.
She's heard it before already.
Hmm.
Hey, last time I played euchre, she called me a cocksucker. My mother. Then she called my brother-in-law an MFer. Yeah, my mother.
Takes her euchre serious, I guess.
Yeah, she wasn't happy that game. Me and Chris were just killing them. She looked at me and she goes, I'm like, Mom, there's kids in here. She goes, cocksucker. I'm like, oh. I'm like, of course you would say that. So, gotta love that family feud when you get in the card game. So, Brian, you might hear some choice words, and it might be from Charlie.
Oh, is he developing a mouth?
A little bit. It's not. It's really funny how he cusses, because it used to be the actual words, and now it's like holy farfanugan. You know, he just throws in different F's, which cracks me up for. Or the what the H. He even did the what to Hitler. I'm like, what? Like, what are you doing, Charlie? Josh.
By third grade, kids have pretty much heard it all. So
no, yeah,
it's no surprise. Yeah, I mean, between movies, TV shows, video games, yeah, they heard it all.
Here's Chris, took her down, and your sis. Sis wasn't happy too, and sis is worse than mom with the mouth. Let's just put it this way: if you ever watched Yellowstone and you've seen Beth Dutton, that's my sister.
Couple episodes, yeah. That's all I need to see to understand that. Sure,
that is my sister to a T. So just forewarning you. All
your
right,
sister's not that raunchy.
Oh, you have no idea, bro.
Okay, well then I'll take your word for it.
She's all nice and innocent until a couple cinnamon liquors hit her lips, and then it just comes out like a barrage of beat up. Just Bri.
Take cover.
Bri. Well, let's get into our Cleveland headlines here real quick, Bri, because we're going to try to move through, because we got next week. We are doing a mailbag show next week, plus the Bri and Fatty Ohio State and Michigan week, because we can't do it beforehand because of holidays and all that stuff. We were wanting to do a special show. So next week, we're going to get into Ohio State, Michigan, getting some college football, look ahead to Miami, and do a mailbag, a questionnaire from everybody. If you guys want to throw up questions for us next week, we answer all. Bring them on. Doesn't matter what it is. So, Brian, let's get into our Cleveland headlines, all right?
Mm-hmm.
First off, on your Cleveland headlines, your Cleveland Cavaliers are just on fire. Darius Garland came back last night, and they beat the Celtics again in overtime, 114-113. Then Garland had 29 points. Donovan Mitchell had 24. Just a great team effort. I actually got to watch a Cavs game. I watched the whole game.
Wasn't that nice?
Did you watch it too?
I watched the whole first half, and then I kind of fell asleep at halftime, and I woke up for overtime. So we'll say 60% of it I saw.
Bri, I was actually kind of impressed because, you know, I know of Donovan Mitchell. I don't get to see him that often because it was Utah Jazz. And everybody kept telling me, you know, he's a shorter guy. He's a shorter guy. He's a shorter guy. Bri, looking at his frame, I don't care if he's 6 foot because he looks like he's holding about 230 on him. He is like a short, just stocky, quick guy. Unlike the normal, like, you know, Trae Young 6-footers that if a wind blows right, he's rolling down the street and into a garbage bag. But man, this team is just something special right now, and they're just playing to have fun, and they are straight up having fun because after the win last night between Garland and Mitchell, the wonderful celebration was absolutely insane between those two. So, I mean, unreal what this Cavs team is doing right out of the gate, Brian. I understand it is a very long season, but for right now, you can get excited for this.
Yeah. It's a fun team to watch, and you don't have to watch them for very long to kind of figure that out. And it's just so kind of refreshing, you know, where Cleveland sports fans are right now and where we've been over the last 5-10 years. It's just they have players that you can get behind, that you can support because they're easy to root for. And that's not always what makes a team fun to watch or anything like, but it makes it a little bit easier to like, okay, yeah, these guys are out there having fun. They're supporting one another. They all seem to be good dudes. So, I think the city will really get behind them throughout this year. And yeah, to beat the Celtics, the defending Eastern Conference champs 2 times in a week. I know they both went to overtime, but you still got the W, and it's not easy to do. So I think I started thinking about it yesterday, like after watching them and what they can do. And who did they play this past week where was it Mitchell and LeVert went for 41 each?
Yeah.
Holy, and LeVert's like our, 4th, 5th scoring options. So just to have guys like that can just pop up and go off like that in one night, it's so much fun, so refreshing to watch. And what I was thinking to myself last night was this team, there's 2 things that are kind of not holding this team back, but if they can get these 2 things, I think they're championship contenders. And one is just something that you're going to have to be patient about. First thing is they need a playoff experience. And that's, with that, then they start getting more comfortable in those big moment situations. And hopefully that'll happen this year. And then the other thing that they're lacking, or, what would take them to the next level, is Evan Mobley taking that next step. And because right now it's the Garland and the Mitchell show and what those guys can do, and it's pretty spectacular. But Evan Mobley, man, if he could just turn into like a superstar, I think it's right now maybe a little premature to call him an all-star. It's asking a lot of him. Let's not forget he's only 20 years old. So there's not many 20-year-olds that make the all-star game. So if he could ever make that next step, be it this year, next year, and, Garland continues to improve, Mitchell kind of stays where he's at and takes that leadership role, the sky's the limit for this team. And I know we're only, 8 games in this year, but they're a fun team to watch, man. I think the city will really get behind them like they did the Guardians for the next several years, hopefully.
Now, Justin put in, he goes, okay, I know it was past Eastern Conference champs. I understand that. And I know it's not your Jordan Bulls because he is a Bulls fan.
Oh, okay. There we go.
For Cleveland fans, this is huge because we finally got a team without a LeBron. I mean, we had the Doherty and Price years where we ran into Michael Jordan. After that, we didn't have much till we got LeBron. Then we got LeBron, didn't have much again when he left, got LeBron back. And then this team, we had to rebuild because nobody wants to be a free agent in Cleveland. Let's be honest. Nobody wants to come to Cleveland in December or January. It sucks here. I mean, Bri, you and I both know it sucks here. But for this young team and just like even Donovan Mitchell to actually, the trade, he could have said, no, I don't want to go to Cleveland. He was so excited to come to Cleveland because of the kids that we got here. And something, this might change the culture for the Cavs from here on out that might make it a destination for free agents. And I even went to Twitter when did they play? Last night? Night. I went to Twitter last night, and Bri, I will say it on this show. Lord, I apologize for trying to run Kevin Love out of this city for as long as I have. That man has swallowed his pride, took his role where he's supposed to be now, and he's loving every minute of it. There's your playoff experience right there is with Kevin Love. There is your experienced guy that's taking these guys. Last night, watching him dunk and then just high-fiving the whole bench. I didn't know he could still dunk, for one. I mean, he's like, what, 48 now?
Right. He seems like he's super old. He can't be that old. What, 31, 32 maybe?
Yeah, but he never could jump to begin with. He was one of those defensive.
He's 6'10".
Well, so? Doesn't mean he could jump.
That's true. I wonder if I could dunk at 6'10". I don't know.
I know I can't dunk at 6'10". I don't even think I can touch the net. That's how bad that is. But yes, this Cavs team is just it's great. I can't wait for the ride they're about to take us on. And something, next step, like you said, playoffs. You need playoff experience. You don't need a playing game. You don't need anything else. Try to get the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th seed, and then just see. Kevin Love is 34. God, why does it feel like he's
34? Man,
like there's a lot of those tires.
Man, I'm really old then because I still remember him at UCLA.
Oh, fat Kevin Love.
Yeah, chunky Kevin Love with a shaved head.
Yeah,
a pencil thin beard.
Love fat Kevin Love. He needs to go back
Crazy.
to that. This healthy Kevin Love just doesn't look right. All right, Brian, do you want to get into the other headline for your Cleveland headline?
Absolutely.
All right. I even put it up here for you. The Cleveland Browns whooped that Bengal ass on Monday Night Football. And Bri, it had me scared at the beginning with a blocked field goal and some other things that happened. I had some few choice words about not seeing Nick Chubb touch the ball and what were they doing. And then, and the one reverse with Amari Cooper, which we'll get into that here a little bit later.
Please don't.
But Bri, finally, we had an A+ game from our offense. We had an A+ game from our defense, and I'll give our special teams about a B. We finally had complimentary football, and look what happens. You had Joe Burrow rattled the entire game. Your offense could do whatever they wanted against that defense. I mean, whatever they wanted during the second half. They could have just shoved it down their throat with Nick Chubb all the time if they wanted to. DPJ showed up. Cooper showed up huge. I mean, it was the DPJ, it was the Cooper, and it was the Chubb show. The entire show was right there. Those three. It was unreal, Brian.
Yeah, and let's not forget Kareem Hunt and all he was going through for him to come through in that giant moment, national TV. And for the record, I never believed Kareem Hunt really wanted to trade. I think he was just taking the advice from his agent who said, hey, probably not going to re-sign you. So the best thing for your career to do is demand a trade. He wants to be in Cleveland. To this day, Kareem Hunt still wants to be in Cleveland. He just wants a average to maybe slightly below average deal, and he would stay. But I don't know if he's going to get it. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, for him to go out there and play his buns off like that, that was pretty good to see. And, the whole game, it was just, man, it was from probably halfway through the second quarter to the end of the game, it was just a party. Because the first quarter and a half, the defense was playing their ass off, but the offense really couldn't get anything going. And yeah, you mentioned the pass by Cooper. Not something that we want to relive, but thankfully scoring 32 points after that kind of washes that bad memory away. So yeah, nothing but good things to say about this defense. I mean, they stepped up absolutely 100%. And don't forget, they're still banged up. They're without their number one corner, probably number one linebacker. And the defensive ends are still a little banged up, but Myles Garrett played a heck of a game. That's what defensive players of the year performances look like. So from that tip pass that we intercepted, I feel like that was almost a changing the momentum shift that we needed for the rest of the game that carried us through, because they were just driving down, doing kind of whatever they wanted. And you figured they're at least getting a field goal there. And then Myles Garrett just kind of turns the tide. And it took our offense a little bit of time to catch up after that. But, man, it was fun to watch him. I don't know. Some teams just have other teams' numbers. I think we just have the Bengals' numbers. You see the Rams and the 49ers. The Rams, Super Bowl champs. They can't beat the 49ers in the regular season. So I'm hoping we just have Joe Burrow's number. And, I know they didn't have Jamar Chase, but I don't know if he would have made that big of a difference.
But you also got to factor in the people we didn't have. We didn't have JOK. We didn't have Denzel Ward. We had some people out too. And I was taking notes just for this show, Brian, because I knew we were going to have a bye week and everything else. So the first quarter, let's see here. I put down field goal block, great sack by Garrett on third down, Cooper interception. What the hell was that? And then John Johnson, the third, great open field tackle on a third down.
Yep. Sure.
So, it just starts like that. And it's, they always say it's 5 plays that decide a game. 5 plays, really, that decide a football game. And you went out and did those pretty much 5 plays in the first half, and you took control of that football game right out of the gate. Now, Coach, I know you love watching Illegal Ham to the Face. It's probably one of your top broadcasts to watch. Do me the biggest favor in the world. Don't ever frickin' throw a wide receiver reverse pass downfield again. It's not OBJ here. It's not Jarvis Landry here. Stop it. 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 One more time. Stop it.
He threw it right to him.
Yeah.
Literally right to the defender.
The thing is, though, is if you look, DPJ was wide open behind that guy. Just straight steaming. But I'm just sitting there going, why? Why you got to get cute right now? Why now of all time to get cute? Why? It's, hey, first down. Hike. Here you go, Nick. Second down. Hike. Here you go, Nick. It's not that hard to do. We got the leading rusher and the leading touchdown rusher in the NFL right now. It's not that hard to do, to turn around and just go, here, take the ball and run. Even the Wildcat, that was probably one of the smartest things he could have done.
Yeah,
take
absolutely.
The hand off and just watch that offensive line. And I'm telling you what, that offensive line, Brian, we have got the elephant in the room. You got Wyatt Teller hurt. That kid has stepped up and done great. But also, our center does not get enough credit. Somebody put it out on Twitter last night. For that guy to come from Seattle, to be a backup here, to just thrown into the Wolves right out of the gate and be as good as he has been since he's taken it over is unreal. Unreal what that does. That guy is so good, Brian. And I think he stabilizes the whole offensive line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And think that he was supposed to be our backup this year. And, unfortunately, it's bad news for Nick Harris because, I mean, he doesn't seem to do it week in and week out where he just shows up. And I think this week he was like a top 5 performer on our team. You know, he graded out with the Myles Garretts and the Joel Batonios. He was up there with those guys. And it's just crazy to think. I wish we had him for more than 1 year. But hopefully it's here. Hopefully they give him a contract. I don't think it'd have to be super lucrative, but yeah, to have a center like that can kind of pull each other together, pull the team together, it's crazy. And he's not your typical, if you look at him, he's not your typical center. He's what, like 6'5" or 6'6", so
Yeah.
he's a tall guy. Yeah, it's fun to watch that unit work. You mentioned the Wildcat. I thought, you know, Stefanski sometimes gets super into trying to be very sneaky and, you know, throw these different kind of trickeries at the other team, and it seems like they're always ready for it. And it's like, you know, this is just a subtle trick play. You don't have to go all out, you know, just throw a little wrinkle at them that they're not expecting. Like, we haven't run Wildcat all year long, so nobody was ready for that. You know, Nick Chubb's going to get the snap and run it, but it just caught them off guard just for that split second, and it worked. And I thought maybe the best player of the game for me was, I think it was in the second half where, or maybe the end of the first half, where it was like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and maybe 3rd and 7 even. We ran a draw play, and it went for like 20 yards. And just something like that, you know, they're expecting you to run the ball on 1st and 2nd down, but on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6, you know, not many people run the ball there. So just to catch them off guard just a little bit, the draw play worked out great for us. It worked out great for us again in the second half with Kareem Hunt. And it's just like stuff like that. It's not super sneaky, but it's just a little wrinkle, and it had great success this past week.
And the other thing, I mean, it actually looked like a team effort for once. Like, this team actually had fun together for the first time in I don't know how long. But even, you know, you're talking about little things. You know, I watched the sneak with Brissett. He got stood up right behind that line. Harrison Bryant just snuck in right behind him and just pushed him all the way out there for a 3-yard gain. Like, just it's the little things that you need to do on a week in, week out basis to win in the NFL. And even just the coverage. I mean, Bri, another person that doesn't get a lot of, you know, headlines, Taki. What a hell of a game he played.
Player of the game.
I come in with the strip and everything. Everybody thought it was Myles Garrett. It was him. Came in with the strip, tackles everywhere. He was just hair on fire, just going everywhere. The left tackle for Cincinnati, man, did he get blessed into the league with the couple of spin moves by Myles Garrett, and then Thomas, the 7th round pick, came in and got a couple of sacks on him. Man, oh man, it's just, I don't know how this defense goes from what we saw fighting with each other, pointing fingers at each other, and everything else to actually playing great these past 2 games. And it's just, we needed this at the beginning of the year, Bri. We don't need it now. I mean, it might be too far gone to where we can come back. I mean, like you said, it's playoff atmosphere now. You got to start stacking up wins. I put a poll out on Twitter, said, you know, with this momentum they got after this huge win against Cincinnati on Monday Night Football, can this push them to a playoff berth? Can this, you know, get them that extra oomph, the excitement to get them going, or is it too far gone? And right now we don't know for sure, but we got a gauntlet of teams coming up here that we're going to have to, I mean, we got Miami, Buffalo, and Tampa. And then after those 3 games, Deshaun comes back and we'll see what he is after 2 years off. You know what I mean? Like, it's, but we had such high hopes for this team to begin with that if you flip it around, we could have been, I mean, Brian, if you think about it, we could be 6-2 or 5-3 right now instead of 3-5.
Yeah, and I think if they put that effort forward that they did on Monday night, you probably are. And that's the most frustrating thing, is that we know they have that effort in them. You know, Jacoby Brissett isn't that bad. He's not shooting you in the foot left and right, throwing picks, turning it over, and, you know, stalling drives. But, yeah, there's a little credibility to saying that we've been a little banged up, you know, with some key players. And, you guys are out there battling. Miles and Clowney are out there battling, and I think this bye week comes at the perfect time because hopefully you get maybe Teller back, Ward. Although MJ Emerson, he had a hell of a game too. I mean,
He did.
there's part of me that wonders, like, after the Browns see a game like that, do they regret giving Denzel Ward, $20 million, knowing that he's, let's be honest, maybe one more concussion, his season might be over. Maybe two more concussions, his career's may be in jeopardy, unfortunately. I mean, I hate to paint a bleak picture like that, but it's the nature of this business. And I don't know. You hope to get him back. You hope that he's 100% when you do get him back, and he can be a difference maker. But you just don't know. So, yeah, this bye week comes at a great time. Get these guys healthy. Maybe Njoku comes back too. Who knows? And yeah, you just hope you get that effort again. It's not good enough to do it 1 week and then kind of rest on your laurels that this team has done in the past. Because you have, I mean, we'll talk about it next week a little more, but probably an equally as important game coming up against the Dolphins, who are probably a better team than the Bengals are right now. And you're going on the road to do it. Tua's leading the league in passer rating right now. And those two wide receivers, they'd scare any defense. So you better come with that exact same effort.
Then they picked up a pass rush too from Denver. I mean,
they're a good team.
It's going to be interesting, which we'll get into that next week when we look ahead to Miami. Bri, the other thing I wanted to bring up, should we be concerned with Cade York right now? Now, I know he got pissed off and kicked a 55-yarder through, and there was plenty left. But he's had a couple blocked already. We've had a couple miscues with him. Is this just going to be a learning experience that we just got to deal with for now until he gets more comfortable, in the role where he's at?
For the first time, I think I'm starting to maybe get a little bit concerned with Cade York. I still think he's a great kicker. I think he can kick it from 65 and be accurate from there. My concern is the trajectory of his kicks. And if you remember, I want to say 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago, we had a kicker by the name of Travis Coons, and he kicked 15. He made his first 15 field goals. I want to say he was like 15-15 or something. And then teams realize that he just kicks that low ball, and you pile in the middle and you just try to block it. And he never really kicked anything over 50 yards, but they figured him out that all you have to do is stick up a hand and you got a good chance of blocking it. So you watch Justin Tucker, his kicks are just straight, that no chance of ever getting blocked. And yeah, it worries me a little bit that he might have to learn how to kick the ball a little bit, because teams in this league will figure you out, even if you can kick it from 70 yards. I mean, you have to be kicking it low. So he's going to have to learn how to get it up. I'm not just going to put it on the offensive line and say they have to do a better job of blocking, because I think part of it has to do with the way he's kicking the ball.
Yeah, and I'm for once, I'm not too concerned. I think it's just growing pains. We're going to have these with him at least until he gets more comfortable. I mean, we got to factor in. I mean, this is his 8th game. He's kicking in Brown Stadium for what, like the 3rd time, 3rd or 4th time. And once he starts getting used to it and gets his Phil Dawson always had a regiment. Once he figures out his regiment of what he wants to do throughout the day, how he wants to kick, I think he'll get there. I think he's just got to find that rhythm for himself. And once he does, watch out, because like you said, he can kick it from anywhere. I mean, the size of his leg is when he kicked that ball, because he even told Mary Kay, because he was upset because the other one got blocked. He was so mad that he kicked that ball so hard because he was upset. And it shows that he wants to be good. I mean, for him to be upset. And then also the other thing that Mary Kay said with Miles is Miles feels like he let the team down. When he got in that car accident, he was hurt. He was banged up. He wasn't his full self. And now he's starting to come back to his full self. So this team is finally starting to get healthy, and I think it's going to be fun to watch here in the next few weeks, Brian. I really do. I think we're going to have a blast.
Yeah, they just have to. All I ask of them is they play their hearts out for 60 minutes. I think if they play their hearts out for 60 minutes and Stefanski, doesn't get too cute with his play calling, I mean, the sky's the limit. You can win with Jacoby Brissett. You can beat the Dolphins. You can beat the Bucks. You just have to go out there and do it, and you can't be showboating because you made one play, or you can't be celebrating on the sidelines because you're up 7 or 10 points. Because if you do that, you're probably going to end up losing the game. So they're a young team. They just have to stay focused for the entire game.
All right, Brian, do you want to get into our players of the week?
Sure.
All right, which is a great week when we, actually get to do.
Yeah.
So, Brian, why don't you give me your Big O player or players of the week?
I'm going Brissett. And it's just, he did it again. And I think I remember at some point in the third quarter, he was like 22. Well, what did he finish? 17 to 22 or something. He was like, he only had 3 incomplete passes or something, and 1 was a spike and 2 were drops. And so just he continues to do it. And, you heard the announcers say that Cincinnati didn't give up a touchdown in the second half all year. And I mean, yeah, you obviously have to give credit to our running backs and our offensive line, but the quarterback can win or lose you the game, and he didn't lose us the game. And some of those passes to Cooper were right on point, and very comfortable with him as our backup. So he had a great game, and sometimes I think he doesn't get enough credit. Sometimes maybe I'm too hard on him because he can't do everything as a quarterback, but he's very smart, and he didn't lose us that game when that first half, that was hard to watch for the first quarter and a half anyways. So yeah, props to him.
All right, my Big O player of the week. You can go a lot of different ways. The offense played great. Offensive line definitely played great. I don't think Jacoby was pressured that much. Jed Wills stepped up and had a really good game against Bengals. Do have somewhat of a solid pass rush with Hubbard, and they're on the edge. But mine, Mari Cooper, shows you what real talent, even though he threw that interception, but Bri, that toe tap and catch there at the end zone, some of the catches that he's made just running out, it's unreal to actually see a wide receiver that we wanted, that we traded for, show up and actually want to play for Cleveland. And I'm not saying that Jarvis or OBJ didn't, but we've been through the gauntlet of Kenny Britt, Dwayne Bowe, Josh Gordon not be able to get on the field. Like, we've had talent here. It's just they never wanted to play. And to get him for a 5th round pick after the Steelers traded Chase freaking Claypool for a 2nd round pick.
Top 3 receiver in the league. What are you talking about?
Oh my God. But yes, I think Amari Cooper being on this team, I think it actually changed this team. I think it's helped Peoples-Jones. I think it's helped David Bell. I think it's helped the tight ends to get them free. But yes, I think Amari Cooper definitely for me is the Big O of the week. Brian, what about your Big D of the week?
I'm giving it to Taki. I mean, he was just a monster out there, and he stepped up in the absence of JOK, and he made play after play, tackle for loss, couple of them. That strip sacks certainly was a game-changing play. And, we haven't heard much from him the first 2.5 years of his career. So for him to go out there and have a performance like that on primetime TV when we absolutely needed it was huge. So, big props to him. We need that every single week. We need that intensity. And, couldn't be more proud of him, watching him. That was awesome.
All right. For me, there is 2 names that stick out the most. First off, Myles Garrett. I don't care if, ands, or buts. Brian, that is the Myles Garrett we need every week.
Mm-hmm.
It's not taking plays off. It's not any of that crap. We need that Myles Garrett every week. We don't need this double teaming, all this stuff, moving down the line like they have been. I mean, I saw him play on the right side, Bri. Like they moved him around on the defensive line to get him the best matchup. And they need to do that from here on out. And my second one, John Johnson III. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't great. But it seemed like after everybody called him out, he finally got his nose on the ball and started coming down and getting some big hits, especially on the mixing and everything else when they were dumping out because they couldn't do anything else. I mean, you had Taki, you had John Johnson III. Martin Emerson had an amazing game. Game. We didn't say much about Greg Newsome. Greg Newsome still had a great game.
Yeah, if I'm going to give a second guy, I would give Emerson for sure. Because I think he makes, to this point of this year, through the first half of our season, I think he's made more plays in our secondary than anybody else on the team. And that's a third-round rookie. And that's not a slight at the other guys, but
well, they keep attacking him.
If you can get guys like that. What's that?
I mean, they keep attacking him. That's why. I mean, he's a rookie. He's a third-round rookie. They're going to throw at him all the time. And he's up for the
making
challenge.
Plays.
Right. He is up for the challenge.
Breath of fresh air.
Bri, do you have a just not my day player of the week?
Yeah, I'm gonna. After that performance, I'm keeping it positive. I'm gonna give you a special teams player of the week, and it was all because of one play, and that's Anthony Schwartz. People have written him off, and maybe he's not going to be the receiver of the future for us, but he was out there on special teams trying to make a play. He got some pressure on the punter and forced him to shank the ball. And I think it was like a 20-yard punt or something like that. So use his speed in other ways and just, tip of the cap to him for going out there, not hanging his head because he can't get on the field on the offense, trying to make a play on special teams and get the coach's staff attention that way. So, that was pretty cool to watch.
My just not my day player of the week, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had no chance. Every time he dropped back, it was one Mississippi, two, shit. Drop back again, one Mississippi, two, shit. He had no time whatsoever. And in between the defensive tackles, we heard from Taven Bryan. We heard from Elliott. We heard from Clowney. We heard from Thomas. We heard from Garrett. The defensive line just won that whole offense. They just won it. There was no ifs, ands, or buts, and Joe Burrow had nowhere to go with it. If you give him time, he'll pick you apart. But if you don't give him time, he ain't going to do anything. And Bri, I felt bad. I'm sitting here watching this blowout, and I'm like, man, I picked a blowout the other way because I honestly thought that this Browns team folded in. I really did. I thought they quit. I thought they were done, and they're just folded lawn chair. We're out. We don't want to do this anymore. And you know something? They proved me wrong. But just like you said, though, from here on out, we're not playing a schedule game 4 or 5 weeks down the road. Every game now is a playoff game because every loss that you take is one more step of you being out of the playoff hunt. You have to win. You got to get on a win streak right now.
Well, and let's give the coaching staff credit. We've been hard on them for the first several weeks of the season. Joe Woods especially, but something about, say what you want about these guys. They seem to play our division very tough. Even the last year's games with Baker Mayfield, we lost a very low scoring game to the Steelers and the Ravens last year because our offense couldn't get anything going. Our defense showed up and played, and the Ravens game this year, the Bengals game this year, the defense has showed up and showed out. So give them a lot of credit because the game plan that they have for Lamar Jackson, for Joe Burrow, has worked over the last couple of years. We need the production on the offensive end to match.
All right. Now, Brian, we're going to put a button in this great win that they had over the Bengals. How did we do on our spread and our win? You had it written down. I had a blowout. You had a close game.
Yep, I had the Browns winning and covering, and you had the Bengals winning and covering.
And we both lost. So I'll take that loss, though.
No, I won twice. Get out of
No,
here.
you did not. No, you
I had the
didn't.
Browns winning and covering. I just said that.
I thought you had the Bengals winning.
Mm-mm.
I thought you had the Bengals win like
30-20. I think 30-28. I had Browns. Don't quote me on the score, but I had the Browns winning.
You better have that written down because I thought we both.
Yeah, go back and listen. No, go back and listen. I mean, it's on the internet. Internet don't lie.
All right, I'll have to go back and listen. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure that somebody will say, yeah. Let's see here. Losing to the Jets, Patriots, and Chargers. Yeah, that one definitely hurt. But you got to go for the division.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, Bri, little curveball here. We had the trade deadline has come and gone. All right, we didn't lose anybody, we didn't gain anybody, and we had the State of the Union with Andrew Berry. I listened to the whole press conference, Bri. Not much you get to take out of that. The one thing I did take out of it, though, is if the Browns sounded like if the Browns would have lost this matchup with the Bengals, Kareem Hunt was gone, no matter what happened.
Oh yeah, sure.
And for them winning and Kareem playing the way he did, they kept him around. Supposedly they were in on a defensive tackle, but just nothing matched up. They were trying. I think it was the Commanders they were going after. One of the Commanders' defensive tackles, but just nothing matched up. But other than that, we had some big moves. We had Claypool go to the Bears. We had Roquan Smith go to the Baltimore Ravens, which makes them tougher now. You had Bradley Chubb go to the Miami Dolphins, which makes them tougher now. You had Kadarius Toney go to the Kansas City Chiefs, right?
Yep.
Like they need another speedster there. So, I mean, all in all, with the GM talk and everything else that has happened and the trade deadline, where are you at with the trade deadline and what did or did not happen for your Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, I think it was pretty appropriate in what happened on the trade deadline. You can't go all in for this year by any means, but at the same time, like we talked last week, if you lose that game against the Bengals, then yeah, your season's probably over. You probably think more seriously about trading Hunt and trading Greedy Williams if you truly have no interest in re-signing them, because why keep them on the team if you're just gonna play it out and you're not really playing for anything. So I'm glad that they kept those guys around. Even if they leave in free agency, you get some sort of compensation draft wise with that. So yeah, I think the Browns did a very good job not doing anything, just because yeah, the Dolphins are in a position to go for it. The Ravens are in a position to go for it. The Browns are still kind of in that middle ground where, like, yeah, I mean, you don't have many draft picks to trade to begin with, so you don't want to be giving up more of your future to go all in on this year when, a couple more losses the next month might kind of kick you out of the playoff competition. So, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with what they did, not doing anything.
Oh, by the way, big fella, special show announcement for next week. Since it is voting day, Bri, our top 3 is going to be things that you would change in sports.
Okay.
You like that?
Gotcha. I'll put in some thought there.
A little something to think about for next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they didn't deal Hunt because I know they probably weren't going to re-sign him. And if they do, to be honest, Bri, they probably saved his career a little bit. I mean, they don't run him as hard as anybody else would. He's a second, third down back. They do switch off with him and Chubb, but he's not taking near as snaps as Chubb is taking. But I mean, for him being 27 years old and still running the way he does, I thought a contender that needs a running game like the Buffalo Bills, I thought would come after him. The Rams, after Eckler got hurt, would come after him. Somebody would come after him, and nobody did because even Dearness Johnson this past game got in for a little bit And of course, he runs like he always runs, which is just like Chubb and Hunt. I mean, for some odd reason, they got all the running backs in their room all run pretty much the same way, and they run angry.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad they kept. I hope that they find a way to keep him long term, because I believe in my heart of hearts that he really wants to be in Cleveland, and he wants to be here for the turnaround when Deshaun gets back and start competing for something maybe next year. But it's a business, and we're paying a lot of guys a lot of money, and I think the Njoku money kind of hurt any chance that you had of keeping Hunt. So
Yeah.
think of Njoku, you think of Garrett, you think of Watson, you think of our two guards. We're just paying so many guys a ton of money. We have so many guys that are in top 5, top 10, Nick Chubb, of their position, and you can't keep everybody. Unfortunately, it's the price of being good.
Yep. Well, brother, you ready for Fat Boy Tuesday?
Okay.
And now it's time for Fat Boy Tuesday.
And for once, we would normally not talk about food this segment, but I do got to bring up a food comment, Brian. The McRib is back for the last time. Okay. And
Get out of here. Really?
Yeah.
Last time ever?
I guess they're done with the McRib, which I am very saddened by, because that is probably the best sandwich ever.
I've never had one.
You never had one? Oh,
Yeah, can you believe that? I thought it usually came out in the springtime. Does it always come out in the fall?
It's always like a seasonal. They either do it in the spring or the fall, but it's always one of the two where they bring it back for just that few months or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I was listening to the afternoon drive, and our guy, Nick Wilson, they brought in McRibs to the show. We both seen Nick Wilson. He's a bigger fella. And I mean, not like he's not fat. He's just, what is he, like 6'6"? Like, he's just a big dude.
Is he really? Well,
Yeah,
you saw him. You stood next to him.
He's huge. He's just tall. Like, I don't know. He didn't even touch a McRib. Free McRib sitting right there, and he didn't touch it, Bri. And I called shenanigans on him. I called him straight out. I'm like, you eat that McRib, and you like it. What are you doing there? Sitting there smelling the box, getting in your shame bag? Eat it. And I kept going after him after that. But yeah, McRib's back. If you get a chance, it's probably the last time they're going to have it.
Maybe I'll have to do that. Does it really taste like a rib?
Yeah, it's rib
Does it
meat.
really?
It's rib meat. It's just formed in like a patty. I don't know how to explain it. And they're
now I don't even know if I want to try it, because what if I love it? What if it's great? It's the last time I'm going to have it. I'm just depriving myself of one other thing that I love for the rest of my life.
Bri, but you also got to figure out, what if? I never tried it. I wonder if it really was that good. I wonder if you got to try it, Bri.
I might call McDonald's bluff and wait for them to come out with it again.
I don't think it'll happen, Bri. But
if it's such a cult following favorite, why wouldn't they come out with it again?
I don't know why they don't have it on their menu year round. I would be a happy camper. I would be one happy camper. I love the McRib.
They probably just don't make much money off of it. It all comes down to dollars and cents.
Well, either that or just doing the Justin, how much of that rib meat is rib meat? I don't even care.
Right. It's like a hot dog, probably.
It's smothered in barbecue sauce, onions, and pickles. I don't care. Don't care. You're not ruining it for me. I've eaten worse. All right. So, but yes, the McRib. Right now, I'm going to go get a McRib tonight.
All right. What's Fat Boy Tuesday?
All right. We are doing Halloween costumes. So my boys dressed up as a ninja and a pirate. I got to see a whole bunch of costumes as I was going out. And I wanted to ask you, Bri, adults in costumes, if it's not a costume party, is that okay?
If they're with their kids, yeah.
Okay. Because
if you're just dressing up to dress up, then yeah, something maybe a little weird about that, I guess. But you do you.
I got to see the Bat family. I got to see Batgirl, Batman, and Bat Baby. I got to see a herd of dinosaurs, inflatable dinosaurs, which was
Yep.
probably the funniest thing I seen because all you're seeing was just inflatable heads running around. I got to see a dad dressed up as Monsters Inc., dressed up as Sully, and the daughter dressed up as the little girl from the movie. So I was wondering what was one of the best costumes that you've seen this year. Have you seen any costumes this year?
Yeah. So we got a Halloween party coming up on Saturday, so I haven't seen a ton of costumes, but just based on what kids coming around and trick or treating on Monday, I'll tell you the best costume I've seen, and it wasn't even made up or nothing. This actually happened. The kid across the street, down a couple houses, that family's a Steelers fan, and last year he wore his Chase Claypool jersey. And this was before Claypool got traded on Monday night. So he wore his Chase Claypool jersey again, and he had a bag on his head. So the Steelers being down for 1 year, well, not even 1 year, half a year,
Broke
and
that.
now they're already putting bags on their heads because they have half a losing season. So that was the greatest. I mean, probably tops for the next several years. I mean, it was so refreshing to see, like, yep, finally it's your time to be ashamed to be a fan of your team because our stocks are going in two separate directions, we hope. So that was, oh man, I didn't say anything. I wasn't talking trash or nothing like that, but I just had the biggest smile on my face.
Tell me you gave him 2 pieces of candy for that.
Oh no. I should have turned him right away. He's still a Steelers fan. Sorry, kid.
Hey,
you have to deal with half a losing season. Yeah, must be tough.
You should have taken the bag off his face. Go deal with it for 20 years like we did.
Yep. Enjoy Kenny Pickett. He ain't gonna be. He's garbage. He's not gonna be anything. I'm not worried about Kenny Pickett one bit.
I do have to. So my, Junior. You've met Junior. So his wife sent me a picture. He got one of those inflatable unicorns that you wear around your waist. So it looks like you're running with it, like the unicorn's running. And
yeah. I love those costumes.
And then he had a unicorn horn on his head with his daughters that were princesses. Was
Sweet.
Absolutely amazing. I started laughing so hard. I'm like, to be a girl dad, especially for him, like he is into just muscle cars, everything else, like just anything he can work on with his hands, he's into. And then now he's a girl dad, and he hair braided, fingernails painted. He don't care. He's just like, yeah, go ahead. Hey, like, just love seeing it. All right, Brian, let's get into our top 3.
Yep.
Justin said a baby shark inflatable.
Cool.
Now, Justin's favorite thing is Thanksgiving. He put his Thanksgiving decorations out on Saturday.
Me too.
And okay, I'm just ready for food. I don't care. Don't care. All right, let's get into our top 3, Bri. All right, our top 3 this week is horror movies, Bri. Now, we were deciding, with the boys being the age that they are, when was time to get a kids horror movie that, think would be acceptable for the kids. Okay. Like, we grew up watching Casper. We grew up watching Haunted Mansion, things like that as a kid. But I wanted to know your top 3 horror movies.
Okay, I got 3 for you here. And then I might have to bounce because I'm down to 1% here. So we're cutting it close. Yep, I'm cutting it. My number 3, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Seen both the remake and the original. Either one's pretty good. Number 2, Scream. Probably the first one, I would say. you know me, I'm not a huge horror guy, but that was a good one. My number one, maybe you might not call it a horror movie, but Predator. People
Oh,
die by a monster, basically, so I consider that a horror movie.
the one with Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah, the original. That's one of my favorite movies.
All right. So my number 3 has got to go Leprechaun. Anything with oh, I hate that guy. 2, Candyman. Now they redid it. I watched the Candyman from old school days. And then my number 1, and I've said it, I think on this show before, is like you've had Jason, you've had Freddy, you've had everything else. I watched a movie called Sinister, and that just floored me because it's one. Yeah, I just can't.
Sounds terrible.
But even like the Saw movies, like I got into like a couple of them, but just like yeah. And honorable mention, what is it? 13 Ghost.
I haven't seen it.
Well, you're going to have to watch it. You'll like it. So, on that note, we are here at the end of the show, Bri. 1 hour, 1 minute, buddy. How about that?
Cool.
All right. So,
Well done.
Bri,
Well
why don't
done.
you God bless them so you can go charge your phone before Thursday night football?
God bless you. God bless America.
All right. There he is, big fella. I am that fat guy. Thank you guys for watching. We love our troops and first responders. Thank you guys so much for everything you guys do. Thank you to the guys in the comments. Ed, Justin, Craig, James, Hype Man Polly was in here tonight. Thank you guys so much. Tell your friends and family about our show. We love doing it every week. And, you know, we love you guys and the things you guys say, except for sometimes what Justin says. But as long as it's PG-13 appropriate, we can use it. It's fine. On that note, we are definitely uncorked, unloaded. We're out, and we will see you next Tuesday for our special mailbag episode. Any question that you got that you want to ask us, go ahead and ask us. We'll try to answer them the best we can. And we will see you next Tuesday. Have a good night, everybody.